Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have James Daughrity from the LA area in with us, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about his history of getting into commercial real estate. He kind of went back and forth between Chicago. But James, it's great to have you. If you wouldn't mind just going through a little history of how you got to where you are, that would be great.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for having me on, Bruce. Like you said, my name is James Daughrity. I've been in the commercial real estate industry for over 2 decades now. So originally started in Chicago. I was on the south side of Chicago. Took me a little while to break into the commercial real estate market. First, I started doing residential. I tried to go to commercial, so I did residential predominantly for like 2 to 3 years. Then eventually I broke into the commercial for selling multifamily buildings and land acquisitions to do condo development and condo conversions on the south side of Chicago. So I did that up until like 2009 and 10. You know, we all know the market kind of hit a toll and doing all kind of developments then. So I always tell people like, oh, we're going to have another dip. I'm like, you know what? I've been through 2, so I don't mind this third one. I'm prepared for it. So, then I moved out to Los Angeles about 2011 and 12. I was working with a separate company doing sales, and I was doing that for like 2 years, and I was doing educational sales, and they brought me to California, and I was like, you know what? It's pretty nice out here. So I gave myself 6 months in 2012, like 6 months. I got enough money saved up. Let me see if I could really make it work out here in the commercial real estate world in California. And 6 months, I closed my first deal within the first 2 months. And I met a young lady within like month number 5 or 6, who's my wife now, 9 years. And we have a beautiful son. And so, yeah, so I was working with various companies, and I did Daughrity Real Estate on 2020. So I decided to open up my own boutique commercial real estate brokerage in 2020, January 2020. And I'm like, you know what? This is going to be the year. This is going to be the greatest year ever. That's why January 2020 is when I first opened Daughrity Real Estate, and we know the whole world shut down in March 2020.
Wow.
But till this day, 2020 was my best sales year ever.
Wow.
Those $65 million worth of transactions.
That's fantastic. So even during COVID, you were able to scratch out some sales, it sounds like.
I had no choice. Like, I just told my wife I'm going on my own, but, you know, put everything into start my own brokerage business. I had a couple of clients who came with me, and they stuck with me throughout the COVID years.
That's fantastic. So were you cold calling a lot at that time? Or are you still cold calling? What's happening?
Still cold call. So back in the day, I probably was cold calling them easily like 4 days a week. Now I just cold call them usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. I try to make myself specifically, I set time away to always cold call. So no matter what kind of marketing, no matter what's going on, nothing will be ever be cold calling, I feel.
That is fantastic. So what do you use for a database for cold calling?
Now using, let me pull it up real quick. So using remote dialer, emoji dialer.
Oh, okay. All right. Remote dialer or something like that. Okay.
Remote dialer or something like that. I'm not looking. Yeah. I just switched over 2 months ago on the whole CRM system.
Yeah. Oh, so it's part of the CRM system?
Yes. So that was my thing. I wanted to get a better CRM emoji dialer.
Emoji dialer. Yeah. Okay. And is that the CRM you're using?
Mojo Sales. That's the name.
Mojo Sales. All right.
Mojo Sales. So I use them for my CRM system and dialing.
Wow. All right. So it sounds like it's pretty easy.
It's very easy. It's easy. It's web-based. I can do it from my phone. So just in case I'm out and about, I'm like, you know what was that person's name? I could pull up the app on my phone and pull up the information real quick.
Yeah. And off you go. And you have a certain area that you have set out as your kind of farm that you work.
Yeah. So I do have a farm area. So my farm area is a nice little triangle. If you, I don't know if people are familiar with Los Angeles, but it's from the 10 down to the southern tip of Lawndale, which is just south of Inglewood. And I go from 105 to the 405.
Oh, nice. Right in the middle there, it sounds like.
Right in the middle, nice little triangle. And recently, done quite a bit of sales, and industrial sales been picking up. So I was doing a lot of small industrial builds while I was doing a lot of retail acquisition. So it just kind of happened that I'm doing more like smaller industrial deals in the past year now.
Well, I think I heard there's like 5,000 industrial buildings in that same vicinity.
Yes. And a lot of people, they convert them into shared kitchen spaces, religious workshops, office space. So those little small industrial, like one of the hottest ticket items in South LA right now.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you've been working that whole market up one side down to the other. So what do you think is going to happen now that the election's over? Any change? You're just going to keep hammering away at it?
You know what? It's interesting. Now that the elections are over, I'm getting more cold calls of people inquiring about properties and opportunity zones.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I'm like, you know what? It kind of makes sense. Opportunity zones were really a hot ticket item during Trump last administration. So it seemed like a lot of people coming back around to that because it maybe have been on the chopping block, the opportunity zone codes and different things like that. So everybody is feeling very bullish on the opportunity zone areas. And the area where I just told you, my market area, is probably like 70% of that portion is in the opportunity zones.
Oh, wow. Oh, so the industrial, multifamily, office space, all of that, it kind of in the industrial zone, the opportunity zone, so to speak. So tell me what I am not familiar, and I suspect some of the listeners here are not familiar with what happens in an opportunity zone. Can you explain that a little bit?
Sure. Now, I'm going to give my disclaimer. I am not an accountant. So I always got to give my disclaimer. I am not an accountant. Definitely go up there and seek professional accounting. And I don't want the IRS on me or anything.
Yeah.
Opportunity zones, if you invest in a particular certain areas where you could go on the map, I think it's ozmaps.com. That's probably one of the websites. I'm sure you can look it up so people can pull it up. If you go to the website and it lets you know what particular city or particular area that you can invest in and get a 10-year deferred tax basis. So you won't have to pay no capital gains or any kind of taxes on that property for 10 years. Now, there are some stipulation that goes along with that. If let's say easy number, if you bought a property for $1 million, I believe you need to put in 60 to 70% into the property to improve it. And you have 10 years to do that. So you have to spend another $600,000, $700,000. And that's why I'm going to give you that capital gains. I mean, you don't have to pay any kind of taxes or capital gains taxes. For instance, one of my clients, they purchased the property for $25 million. And that property, the amount of taxes they saved on there, they already made quite a bit of savings.
So they bought it for $25,000, but they have to
$25 million.
$5 million. Yeah.
$25 million. They bought the property for $25 million. And the tax basis on that, probably like 1.75%. So
right.
you have to pay taxes on that for 10 years. And the thing about it is you can renew again, so you can push it again for another 10 years because they're taking that property and building a film studio on there.
Oh, nice. So they're putting a bunch of improvements into it. They've got
another $100 million into the development.
Oh, wow. $100 million. So big time. So they're putting a studio in there, and that in turn, do they have a tenant already in place, or they're just speculating?
That particular deal, no, they speculating on that particular deal, but they have quite a few tenants that's like very interested in that area. It'll be a film studio in Southern California in South LA, right off Crenshaw and Stocker. It's a very hot area right now because from that 1 mile radius, if you go from the 10 freeway on down to Inglewood, which is about 6 to 7 miles, you have about 5,000 apartments that's coming online within the next 5 to 7 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. 5,000 apartments that's in planning and development phases, and some are already broke ground. So it's a major revitalization going on in the South Los Angeles.
And those are all mostly market rate apartments?
Mostly affordable.
Mostly affordable.
Mostly affordable. That's a hot ticket item of the affordable housing play right now, but you are seeing some market that's also coming into that. I would say about 70% of it is affordable.
Wow. So are you familiar with the whole tax credit approach to building properties?
Once again, I will give my disclaimer. I'm not a tax accountant, but so I know a couple of my clients, they're they geniuses when it comes to the new market tax credits. I am not. I just help them find the land or the undeveloped land. That's what a lot of times my business is, like identifying sites that's underutilized that they go build more onto the site. And when I spoke to the seller, like, hey, right now your tenant is paying no money. Like you're probably collecting $18,000-$20,000 a year cash flow. Let's exchange out of this particular property so we can get you into a higher base property where you can be collecting more income and you won't have to worry about tenants no more. And then I turn around and sell that to a developer who's going to plan on building a housing.
Yeah. So are some of these are nonprofit affordable housing developers?
So yeah, some are nonprofit affordable housing developers, or they might have a nonprofit partner and it's a for-profit developer. So that's like, I've seen that's like a nice little mix what a lot of people are going through right now.
So is the city throwing in some cash on these developments? Do you know about that?
I know the city of Inglewood just released recently that they are going to be helping some developers, minority developers, to get into the program if you build affordable housing. But us know for the city of Los Angeles, most of them, their legislation and different things that they're doing to increase the bonus, the density.
Right.
So they're not giving you money, but if you build in this particular area, will increase your density. Then you also have the ED1, where they're saying like if you purchase the property from beginning to end, you should be able to get your shovels in the ground within 1 year.
Wow.
The ED1 bill, yes.
Wow. The ED1 bill. I'm not familiar with that. That's very interesting. I'm going to have to look that one up.
Time kills all deals. So a lot of times people, it might take 2 to 3 years to get permits. But if you go register your property with the ED1, then they assign you a person who will help you expedite it so you can get your permits within 1 year.
Is that statewide or is that a local thing in LA? I think that's a statewide ED1 must be.
I'm not sure. I know it's definitely LA County. It's just not Los Angeles City.
Wow.
You can take advantage of that in Inglewood as well, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about statewide.
Yeah, I know the state passed the transit-oriented development bill that allowed you to build higher and more dense. And I assume you're in that transit corridor, so that makes a big difference.
With the new LAX transit line, so yeah, pretty much cold calling on. I'll run right through that line.
Yeah, so a lot of those properties are now worth probably a lot more money just because you can build higher density. Right. Yeah, and so if you get them to trade out to a 1031 exchange, a triple net, that's a great win for everybody. It sounds like.
Right, because a lot of times some of the owner is a little bit older. They just want some stable income coming in, and they don't want to worry about anything no more. So I'm part of the organization ICSC, so the retail organization. So I do a lot of single, triple net asset deals as well too.
So I've not heard of that one. What's it called? IDC?
ICSC. I forgot what it stands for though. ICSC. So retail and shopping centers. So every year when we do a big conference in Las Vegas where you got all the biggest retailers come, and I just kind of meet the different people like that, and I kind of get to like, hey, where you're kind of going, different things like that. And they're always looking for investors because they like build to suit. They build it, then once they build it, they'll sell it off. So I sell a lot of Dollar Generals and Family Dollar Trees because they have some of the highest cap rates.
Right. Yeah, you can get up to 6-7% on some of those, or maybe higher.
Right.
Yeah.
And depending on like wherever you're in, yes.
Yeah, there was some fear out there that Dollar General was going to go wheels up, but I think most investors have kind of gotten over that at this point, right?
No, they never kind of gotten over that, but I'm seeing them doing more rural stores.
Oh yeah,
in some more rural areas, you can get a cap rate from these markets. So it's still the same land, but I'm seeing that a lot higher cap rate. I recently sold one of them in where was that? I was in the middle of nowhere, Oneida, Illinois, where we sold one for 7.5 cap rate, and it was at 1.8 million.
Wow. Yeah, and that was a 1031 exchange.
1031 exchange. It was totally new construction. The lease just started, so they had a 10-year lease with 2 5-year options, so a total of 20 years on that lease.
Wow. So
and a 3% bump every year.
and I'm sure they weren't getting that kind of money when in with their current property.
No, that particular tenant, they had a triplex. So I sold a triplex, which was in LA under rent control. And I believe they was probably cash flowing on that one after everything said and done. They was cash flowing about $2,000-$3,000 a month. So right around $36,000 a year. So now put them into this, they're cash flowing about $160,000 a year.
Wow. Wow.
Cash flow. What I'm doing.
That makes for a very happy customer.
I know. So I actually did 2 deals with that family. And
wow.
Speaking to them, they have quite a few, smaller buildings that's in LA. And, they were kind of testing the market with me when I first kind of met them. So now that they see, okay, they see in the cash flows. So now, like, hey, Jane, let's talk about these other properties that we own.
So are these properties likely going to be torn down, or are they going to stay as say a triplex or whatever?
Torn down.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's most likely torn down. Some of these lots are sitting on, if it's a R2 or R3 lot, or if we could find a C lot, we could definitely go and really increase the density and the bonus of the area.
So are you working with the developers at all that are buying these properties? It sounds like you must be.
I do. So I got quite a few developers I work with. So usually once I find a seller and once the seller is agreeing to sell, I have a database of developers also in my database. I kind of reach out and I kind of know what each one of them like, their sweet spots and different things like that. So I know who to reach out to right away.
So you're basically cold calling along the corridor and you're getting listings along that corridor. And then you have kind of built-in buyers that come in and hopefully buy up these properties.
Right. So I do an analysis. So I use a system or a website called Brickworks. So I send them the address, and through Brickworks, they're like, hey, Jane, you could build 64 units on this particular site. I'm like, okay. So I know most of my clients, they want us paying $10,000 to $15,000 for the raw dirt on this particular unit. So instead of just me like, hey, selling it for $1 million, you know what? Your property is a little bit more valuable than what we thought it was. So the sellers like that. So instead of putting it on the market and selling it as is, I put together a nice little proposal package plan to show what the developer can build if they use the ED1 or various things. So I get the seller more money and I get the buyer walk-in deal.
That is fantastic. So how much does it cost you to put Brickworks into this equation?
I think I pay about $450 a month. Don't quote me on that. So
I see. This is a monthly thing, a monthly subscription.
Because I send them about 4 to 5 deals easily a month. So if I do a deal, they'll charge me like $200, $250 per deal. But because I'm doing multiple ones and I just send them the address, then they can run the analysis for me. It takes them about 2 to 3 days to run the analysis.
Well, even if it was one a month, I mean, that $450 a month, that seems like a pretty good deal.
No, it's a really good deal. And the reason why I like the reports, because it also it lets you know who's the council person in the area. Is this in the TOD with the zoning area? This is what you can build by right. If you go and, talk to various people in the area, this is what you can get it pushed to. So you could build it by right, 64 units. But if you want to take advantage of some other things, you might be able to get to 75, 80 units. So it'll let you know all of that in a particular report.
Wow. But do they actually do a conceptual design?
They do conceptual design. They need to work on that. It always doesn't fit it. I'm just being totally honest with you. It always doesn't fit. They do a conceptual design well, you told me I could build 6 units, but the conception you just sent me look like a 64 unit building right now.
Yeah, right. So the conceptual plan's very conceptual, but still they give them the statistics on what potentially can be bought and built.
It's fantastic. I've been working with them since 2020.
Oh, wow.
In 2020, I've been working with them and they helped me close quite a few deals.
It sounds like it. Yeah. I mean, if you're paying them, $450 a month and you're doing 2 or 3 transactions a month with them, that sounds like a cash machine.
Right. Unfortunately, sometimes when I do send it, they're like, James, is something going on, or this particular area is only zoned for R1. You are not going to be able to build as much. So I got to let them know, like, hey, your property is not as valuable as I thought it was. because usually I don't pay for that until the sellers, I kind of get them a warm lead. And they're like, you know what, let me see what the valuation is if I was thinking about selling it.
Yeah, yeah. But did you go into the listing presentation with that, and then hopefully you get the
Yeah,
listing from that? Yeah,
I do.
yeah. So that sounds like a very good tool to have if you want to get listings.
It is, because a lot of times, people might just run an income approach based on like what I can get, and sales market comparable. Like, yeah, this is what I could get, but I am actually bringing more value and bringing them more income. And then they're like, wow, I didn't really realize I could do that. And on top of that, I'm still shocked. A lot of people never heard of a 1031 exchange.
Oh,
So what I'm going to do with the
yeah.
capital gains, I'm like, oh my God, I level people like, I don't want to sell because I don't know what I'm going to do with the money. I'm like, you know what? Let me tell you what you're going to do with it.
You're going to put it in an exchange. You're going to get a lot more money per month. You're going to be a lot happier. You don't have to pay taxes. It'll be
a lot of times I find them a tenant, a nice strong tenant. Sometimes I do have clients like, you know what, James? I'm like, what? I always wanted a Chick-fil-A. I'm like, really? That's like, but that Chick-fil-A is only going to be like a 3.5-4% cap rate. But if that's what you want, I'm not going to harm you. I'm going to go ahead and do what you want.
Steady stream of income. Hey, yeah, if you like Chick-fil-A, fine. We'll go buy a Chick-fil-A. So have you ended up trading out some of those 1031 exchanges for other 1031s?
I'm actually working on one right now. And the interesting thing is they're trading out from this is a small retail shopping center. And now they want to do a larger industrial deal. They want to do one tenant, one larger deal, one larger basis.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know one of my partners does a lot of kind of flipping of 1031 exchange, finding better deals after, a certain number of months and depreciation. It's better to flip it out to a new one.
It is.
Yeah.
And just keep it going in perpetuity.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Eventually, maybe you have to pay taxes on it, but not hopefully.
You won't. Your heirs will, not you.
Exactly. Well, that's fantastic. So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, James, where would they come to do that?
You can go to my website, jamesdaughrity.com. The phone name, and LinkedIn. That's another good way to connect with me. And I'm always posting things on Instagram too. So I'm very shocked at how many professional business people slide into my DMs on Instagram. So I'm like, you know what? Let me take that a little bit more serious. So that's James Sells, SELLSLA. James Sells LA on my Instagram.
That's an interesting tip. I don't think a lot of people use Instagram in the sales world.
No, they don't. And I tell people every single year I close 1 or 2 deals from a lead I get from Instagram.
Wow. That's interesting.
That's free marketing.
So free marketing. So you just kind of put up some information about what you just sold or what you're working on, what your listings are, and off it goes from there. And
I'll put up exactly what you just said. So a lot of times I got a nice client, and I have a boutique brokerage. So I do have agents in my office that do more like leasing, commercial leasing. So we always like putting up different things on lease. If I help you buy a shopping center, you have some vacancies in there, then I also do that. Then also, I have my business partners. I also have a property management company where we manage commercial property management, and that's SoCal PPM. So we always I touch people different ways, whether you leasing, you property management, but at the end of the day, I'll focus on the sales and acquisitions.
So how many units are you managing these days?
Ooh, we have about 500,000 square feet under management.
Wow.
We have one of our largest shopping centers is on Vermont and Slauson. That's about 230,000 square feet, and it's owned by CVS and McDonald's.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Then we also we go all the way down to small mom and pop liquor stores in South LA. So you know what? They're not ready to sell right now, but then we just helping them get ready to sell. We shoring up their books. We're making sure everything look good. So when we do get ready to sell, we can get the highest value dollar for it.
Very good strategy. Absolutely great. So what property management software are you using?
AppFolio.
AppFolio, yeah.
So AppFolio, shameless plug, we use AppFolio. We were using Yardi Breeze for a long time, but we just found AppFolio is more client friendly. So we could send client reports so the client can go right onto the app themselves and pull up their own report so they don't have to contact us.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are converting over from Yardi Breeze over to AppFolio just for that reason.
I was a Yardi Breeze fanatic. I love Yardi Breeze, and when I was that person who didn't want to switch over because I didn't want to.
So how was the transition? I've heard that it can be rough.
No, it was pretty smooth, to be honest with you. They put a client support person with us for the first couple of months to help us make the transition pretty smooth.
Oh, that's fake. That's great. Well, that's 500,000 square feet. That's a lot. So you want to make sure.
You gotta be thinking it might be more than that nowadays. I gotta look at to see exactly how much we have to manage.
Yeah, well, it
might be more than that now. So I started SoCal Premier Property Management in 2022.
Wow.
It kind of just came about because a lot of time when I was selling these properties, my client was like, now, this is like, you took me from this small little house or this 3-unit into a mid-sized commercial property, and I really don't have the experience. So I was looking for somebody to refer them out to. I'm like, you know what? Let me just show you how to help you get it set up. And that's how I kind of went from me doing property management. But back in the day when I first got into real estate, I always was doing property management back in 2002, 2003, working at a property management company when I first got started in real estate.
Oh, so you knew the ropes.
Yeah. It was something like everybody, I always tell people, you need to have a job that's your business partner when you first start off in real estate. Because, all those deals don't come that far. And I wanted to keep something that was in the real estate world. So I've been doing property management for about 17, 18 years.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. So, yeah, property management is not something you want to go into cold. You got to kind of build up to it and figure it out and understand the whole process.
Right. And I have 2 wonderful partners. We each had our own smaller property management company, and we decided to join up together in 2022. Everything been going great.
So how many people are working in your office?
So right now I'm in my home office, but as far as agents in Daughrity Real Estate, I have 7 agents. And as far as the property management company, we have 1 full-time employee and about 7, 8 part-time.
Oh, they're out in the field. They're on site.
Out in the field, vendors. We work with different vendors.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, that's a great little boutique shop you've got there. Fantastic.
Yes.
All right. Well, say your where they can get a hold of you one more time.
Sure. My website is jamesdaughrity.com, and my Instagram account is JamesSalesLA, and LinkedIn, James Daughrity. Just search that. I think I should be the only James Daughrity that's popping up. DAUGHRITY.
Yeah, you came up fast for me, so I think it is. But I'm going to check out that Instagram account. That's fantastic.
Oh, perfect. Right. Now, I do mix some little personal stuff. So James Sales LA is a personal. I do have a straight business account that's Daughrity Real Estate. So at Daughrity Real Estate. But feel free to follow James Sales LA, and I'll direct you to everything else.
Either one, huh?
Yes.
All right. Well, great to have you.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.